It's early morning and the Devon Air Ambulance is being wheeled from its hangar at Exeter Airport. The aircraft is ready to fly. It can be anywhere in Devon inside half an hour, but today it's going further afield. Paramedic Richard Walker takes the call.
We're going to a road traffic collision in Somerset. 2 patients, both time critical. 2 helicopters going, including ourselves.
When it's called to an emergency mission, the Devon Air Ambulance gets priority clearance from air traffic control. But if a plane's already taking off or is about to land, then even it has to wait.
Element 71 Alpha, Roger, report ready to lift. QNH 10102 aircraft at Echo 1.
Yeah, 71.0 is en route to the A39 near Netherstowe. ETA there is 12:58 overhead, over.
Perfect, many thanks. It's 12:53 for Somerset, so that should work. All okay.
Pilot Steve Rush has years of experience, but there are some problems even he can't make go away. As well as coordinating the arrival times of the 2 aircraft scrambled to the scene of the crash, he's also got bad weather to deal with. The early thunderstorms have cleared, but there's low cloud over the West Country, and that means he can't fly straight over the Quantock Hills. Instead, he has to follow the M5 past Bridgewater. And they have to plan ahead. This might be the last quiet moment they get to discuss where their patient should go. Bristol will be the nearest hospital with a major trauma centre, but Steve already knows the cloud's too low to land there.
Got a cloud base of 100 feet. Okay, all right.
Okay. So what's our other options? Hereford or Southampton?
Or what about across to Cardiff?
Eventually the team land just yards from the road and the yellow Somerset and Dorset helicopter, and paramedics Richard Walker and his colleague Mark Hawley can begin the most important part of their job, treating their patient.
What do you want, Mark? 2 red bags, Moby Med.
Yeah, I'll take the monitoring system with me.
Yeah.
And the first bag.
I'll take DFib as well.
Yeah.
So on the ground then now and approaching the scene of this crash, we're told there are 2 patients here who are time critical. They'll need to get to hospital as soon as they can. The debate is to which hospital we can get them to. That's because of the poor visibility. Thank you very much. The scene here is a true hive of activity. There are 2 vehicles that have been involved in this crash. Both of them have been cut open by the firefighters. There must be 20 firefighters here, I would say. There are at least 3 fire engines. There are cars as well. We've got a land ambulance, 2 helicopters, including ours, in the field behind me. Now, the police tell me these things often look worse than they are. What we've got in front of us certainly appears dramatic. Around me, on the floor, the paraphernalia of the aftermath of this accident. By my feet, the door of one of the cars, that's being taken off. The headrests that have been removed to get better access to the casualties. I've got bits of the trim of the cars. There's a windscreen down there as well. And laid out on the floor, boxes of tools used by the firefighters, saws, hoses, medical bags and stretchers. With around 40 emergency services personnel on site, it's important everyone works together. Chris Hole is in charge of the fire service operation that's been cutting the casualties out of their cars.
Key challenges is to make the space. For example, we've got 2 cars quite close together, like you said. One's in a hedge. If the cars were mobile or on all 4 wheels and the 4 wheels were intact, then we could possibly have moved one, marked where they were, but moved one away so we could get all the way around each car. Yeah. Fortunately, we couldn't do it in this circumstance, so it's quite difficult because we're confined with the space that we've actually got.
In fact, I can see one of your guys over there is actually having to saw a bit of the hedge away to get access to the other side of the car.
Space creation is all about moving things so that we can get to the casualty, and that might mean taking the hedge down, trying to cut as much as we can, and then also removing the roofs and getting a massive amount of space with minimum cuts, and that's why we do the roof off as quickly as we can.
With the team's patient now strapped to a stretcher and supported in a way that means any spinal injury won't be made any worse, pilot Steve Rush has prepared his aircraft to take off. With the major trauma centres at Bristol, Plymouth and Southampton all ruled out because of low cloud, they're forced to go instead to the nearest hospital at Taunton. The good news, though, is that the patient's injuries aren't now thought to be as serious as first feared.
We've looked at the weather both before we left and on the way out here, and ideally we'd like to go to Bristol Hospital, but unfortunately that's not possible. Cloud base is 100 to 200 feet there, so there's no way we'll be able to go.
And presumably while we're here as well, you're keeping an eye just to make sure it doesn't close in so we can get out from here.
I am, yes, and it is to a degree. It's coming in and out the haze and the low cloud cover. At the moment we're fine within reason, and as you say, I'm keeping an eye on it to make sure we can go somewhere. Worst case is it would clamp in completely and then the patient would have to go by land, but at the moment we're okay.